Good evening, and welcome to episode 8 of Mortar and Pestle's Radio Classics. Tonight's episode is entitled The Wailing Wall. Originally written for the Inner Sanctum and broadcast on ABC November 6, 1945, and featuring Boris Karloff in the title role. Our cast tonight features Caedmon Ricker Wilson as the host, Kyle Frank and Scott Fairburn as the fireman, Oral Speakwell as Gabriel Harnell, Melissa Beveridge as Nurse Hopkins and Dorothy, Glenda Bell as Agnes Harnell, Brian Fairbrother as Officer Curie, Scott Fairburn as Crawford, and introducing Lola as the Black Cat. So, without further ado, let's travel through the creaking door to the Inner Sanctum for The Wailing Wall.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host to welcome you through the creaking door into the land of the macabre. Tonight's story is called The Wailing Wall, an original radio play by Milton Lewis. Friends, are you looking for an apartment? Well, we have just the place for you. It's sturdily built, completely of marble. It has cold, running water every time it rains. You don't have to worry about the landlord putting you out. The lease is forever. All you have to do to get this little love nest is call your undertaker and get yourself a little bit dead. All set, friends? Turn out the lights. Curl close to the fire and listen. Night, on the waterfront of Manhattan, as the fog creeps in like a crawling cloud. Tucked in between the towering skyscrapers, there is an old, run-down mansion, an anachronism, a freak among the streamlined giants. It is the Harnell home, and tonight, leaping tongues of flame creep from behind its black shutters.
Here it is, Johnny.
Is anybody alive in that old dump?
They say an old guy lives there alone. Gabriel Harnell?
Hope he had enough sense to get out. That old place is like a tinderbox. Hey, there is someone in there. Get the axe and come on.
I'm right behind you.
What?
Get out of the way!
Hurry, will ya?
That does the door. Okay, come on in.
You see anybody in there?
Can't stay.
Hey, there he is.
You crazy, Coop. Didn't even have the sense to get out.
Here, grab his shoulders.
Leave me.
We're just taking you out.
I don't want to go out.
You ain't asking what you want. Come on, Johnny, before this joint collapses completely.
No! Can't leave the house.
Good evening, Mr. Harnell. I hope you're feeling... Mr. Harnell? Mr. Harnell? Head nurse, and hurry. Hello? Hello, this is Nurse Hopkins on the 18th floor. Gabriel Harnell is not in his room. The window is open from the bottom. Yes, I'm sure he did. There's a letter. I know, but I'm sure he's not alive. Oh, yes. The letter? Yes, I'll read it to you.
To whom it may concern, by the time you read this,
I shall be dead. There can be no mistake this time. Death holds no fear, no terror greater than what I've endured in life. For the past 40 years I've searched for freedom. I hope now I've found it. Even now as I write, I can hear her voice calling to me as she did that night years ago.
Gabriel. Gabriel. Gabriel.
I'd prepared everything while she was in bed. Just the last few minute little details had to be completed.
Gabriel? Can you hear me?
What do you want?
What are you doing down there?
I'm fixing something.
Well, why don't you come up? I don't want to be alone here. I can't bear to be alone. Come up here. What's the matter with you? Why don't you answer me? Oh, you're just doing it for spite. I know you are. Oh, stop that hammering. You know I can't bear the noise. Now stop it, please. Gabriel, will you stop that noise?
Oh, you came down.
Of course I came down. Did you expect me to lie there while all this racket was going on? You know I'm a sick woman. What's that you're doing there anyhow?
You can see.
Of course I can see. But it doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, you've made a huge gaping hole in the wall. Now what on earth would you want to do a thing like that for?
You'll find out soon enough.
And what are all those things?
Stonemason's tools. Cement. Plaster.
I never knew you knew how to use them. Oh, I'm going back to bed.
No, Agnes. No.
Gabriel. That rope in your hands.
Yes. I've thought carefully about this rope, Agnes. It's the most merciful way. It leaves little trace, and there's no blood.
Gabriel!
You won't make it difficult, will you, Agnes? It's the only way.
No, Gabriel!
We couldn't go on like this. Your imaginary illnesses, your constant nagging. I have to be free of them, Agnes.
But murder?
This is best for both of us.
No! Send me away. You can do anything. We can get a divorce. There, see? That would solve everything. You could have your freedom.
Stand there, Agnes, just as you are.
I know. That other woman, that actress Dorothy Carter. That's why you're doing this. You thought I didn't know about that? But I do. No. Let go of me. Let go of me. No. That rope. Help! Somebody!
It will be done in a minute.
You'll never be
everything with its yellow eyes. The cat saw me take her body to the tomb I'd made in the wall. The cat saw me place her there and carefully seal it up. I worked quickly, skillfully, with infinite care. First the bricks, one on top of the other, and then the plaster. Then the wallpaper to match the rest of the room. That wasn't very difficult. In a short time it was done, and I was free. All I had to do now was go to the police and report her missing. It was even simpler than I thought. I put on my coat. I was about to open the front door when I heard it for the first time. I thought it must be my imagination. I listened carefully, rushed to the wall, put my ear to it, and what I heard made icy perspiration ooze out of every pore in my body. The wail was coming from the wall. It was like the insane shriek of a creature of another world. Was she alive in there? She couldn't be. I knew she was dead. And yet, I heard a voice wailing. I could swear it was her voice. I couldn't go out. What if someone else should hear it? Would they go to the wall? Investigate? The doorbell. Oh, it couldn't be at this hour. It couldn't be, but it was. Who? I had to risk everything and answer it. It was Patrolman Kiri. He was the officer of the beat. He was blue with cold.
Oh, sorry to disturb you, Mr. Harnell. I was passing by and I saw the lights on and I peeked in the window.
You looked in?
Yes, and well, since you were still up, I thought I'd ring. You know, it's bitter cold out tonight. I'd like to warm these old bones for a minute.
Oh, yes. Yes, Kiri. Don't stand there in the door, man. Come in.
Oh, thank you. I see you got your coat on, Mr. Harnell. Just got in?
Only a few moments ago. As a matter of fact, I was going to see you.
See me?
Why, yes. It's about my wife.
Is something wrong?
I hope not. I was out all evening. When I got home, she was gone.
Oh, that's not like her, Mr. Harnell.
No, it isn't.
Was she alone all evening?
Yes. At least I think she was. You know, she hasn't been feeling very well lately, and I hate to think it possible, but she may have destroyed herself.
Mrs. Harnell? No, she isn't the sort.
Oh, she was ill, terribly ill. I tried to keep it a secret until she recovered, but the doctors knew, and then... Yes, don't you see? The river.
Oh, I'd better get back to the precinct and report this. You'd better come with me. Missing Persons Bureau will... Hey, Mr. Harnell, you must be mistaken. Isn't that her?
That isn't a woman.
Of course it is. Coming from the other room there. Why, sure, it's your wife. I know her voice. It sounds like she's in pain.
It can't be. There's no one in that room.
She must have come in the back way. Come on, I'll show you.
No, don't go in!
What?
Nothing. There. You can see for yourself there's no one here.
No one? I could have sworn your wife was in this room.
Well, how'd you like to live in a house with wailing walls? Well, one thing you'll have to admit, things aren't so very dead in the Harnell mansion. Or are they? All right, friends. We've given you a chance to warm your blood, and now we fondly hope to turn it to ice again. So, let's hear the second act of Inner Sanctum. We continue with the strange letter left by by Gabriel Harnell.
Kira watched in silent fascination as the cat screamed and leapt against the wall. Would he notice the new wallpaper in the dim light? Suddenly the policeman turned to me.
Yes. I guess the noise is only the wind. Strange how like a wailing woman it can sound.
Yes.
Well, I'll be leaving now. I guess it'd be all right for you to stay here. I'll make the report about your wife.
That's very good of you, Kiri.
You'll let us know if she turns up, won't you?
Yes, I'll let you know. He left. I locked the door and came back to the room where my wife was entombed. Was she still alive inside the hollow of that wall? I listened all night. The wailing rose to a high, insane shriek, and towards morning it began to grow weaker as though she were losing strength. And then it seemed to die. The cat crept away. There was a merciful silence in the house. She was dead. She had to be by now. I sat down onto the sofa and fell into a feverish sleep. Somewhere a bell was tolling, calling mourners to the grave. Suddenly I sat straight upright, shaking, trembling. I'd been dreaming. The front door bell was ringing, and it was night again. How long had I slept? The house was silent. Oh, there was nothing to fear now. I ran to the door, opened it.
Hiya, kiddo.
Dorothy.
Well, are you gonna keep me out here in the cold?
No, I know. Come in. I haven't been feeling well, Dorothy.
Is that why you forgot our date tonight?
I must have overslept. What time is it?
10 o'clock.
10. I must have slept clear through the day.
Well, aren't you glad to see me?
Glad? Why, yes. It's a delightful surprise.
Well, that's more like you. Come here, kiddo. You've got the blues, but Dorothy will wipe them away. Give us a kiss. What's that?
Just the wind.
No, it can't be the wind.
This is a very old house, Dorothy. You sometimes hear strange noises.
I've never heard anything like that before. Sounds human.
Was she still alive? Even after 24 hours? Suddenly I realized that the doorbell was ringing again. There was a large pair of wooden sliding panel doors between the room that we were in and the vestibule that led to the street. I wasn't going to take any more chances.
There's someone at the door.
Yes. You wait here, Dorothy.
What are you doing?
Closing these doors.
Why?
I'd advise you not to ask too many questions.
Evening, Mr. Harnell.
Officer Kiri. Who are those men with you?
They've got something to show you, Mr. Harnell. You'd better brace yourself. It's not going to be pleasant. All right, bring it in, boys. You can put it over there.
What is it?
It's a body. A woman. Just fished out of the river right near here. She can't have been dead more than 24 hours.
My wife?
Well, it's hard to say. You see, the body got caught in the propeller of a boat. It's not easy to recognize it. unless it was examined by someone that knew her very well. Like yourself, of course.
Let me see it.
Take away the burlap. Look, Mr. Harnell, I know it's pretty bad. Is it your wife?
Agnes? Yes. Yes, of course. It's her.
You're sure now?
Yes, I'm sure. Positive.
All right, boys, take it away. You can stay here, Mr. Harnell. I'll take care of everything down to headquarters. Good night.
Luck, fate, whatever it is that seems to control men's lives was now playing directly into my hands. They'd never investigate now. The nightmare was over. This time I was really free. Suddenly, the panel door opened. Dorothy was standing there, curious smile on her lips.
I heard everything, kiddo.
You did.
So, you were married.
No longer, Dorothy. My wife died. Suicide.
So I heard.
Now everything will be quite all right. We can get married in a few weeks. We'll have money, lots of money.
She left you plenty, eh?
She was very wealthy.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Nothing. I see what happens to your face when you hear that wail. Did you kill her?
What are you talking about?
Did you murder her?
You heard what he said. She was found in the river.
You can fool a dumb copper, but you can't fool Dorothy. That wail. It's queer. Awfully queer. And look at what that cat's doing, will ya? Jumping up on that wall like it's gone crazy. Yes, there's something about that wall. That's what the cat's trying to tell me. Something about that wall.
You'd better stay away from there, Dorothy.
I'm going to find out.
Put that down.
Not till I'm done with it, kiddo.
What are you doing there?
I'm gonna break through the wall.
You crazy fool! Stop it!
No!
Give me that!
No! You're too late, Gabe. I've broken a hole through and I'm going to look.
Now you've seen.
Yes. A hand. The hand of a woman. It's her. It's your wife.
Yes, Dorothy.
You murdered her.
Yes.
Well, ain't you the kid?
What are you going to do about it?
What do you think? I want money. Lots of money. That rope.
Yes, this rope. It leaves no telltale traces.
No, kiddo. No, kiddo. Didn't you get it? It was all a joke. No, don't you come any closer.
Don't scream, Dorothy. It won't do you any good.
Gabe, listen to me. I don't want a cent. Not a single penny. I love you. I love you, I tell you. I'll keep your secret. I'll do anything you want. Anything! That rope. Take it away from my neck. No, don't, Gabe! In the name of heaven, Gabe, don't!
She was dead. I took her body and put it in an old trunk in the cellar. I had to think of some plan, some way to get rid of the bodies. In my confusion, there was only one thing I was certain of. I must never leave the house, not even for a minute. I never did. At nights I would sit there listening. Then it would come, the wailing in the wall. I knew that after a week she couldn't be alive. What made the wail? Plans. I thought of 1,000 plans, but all of them meant I'd have to leave the house, and somebody would hear the wailing and find out just as Dorothy did. Fire. Yes, fire. That would do it. The idea danced like a flame in my mind, but no, they would discover the charred bones of the skeletons among the wreckage. It wouldn't be worth it. The only way I could be safe was to stay there, in the house. I stayed. I, who had risked everything for freedom. One day the doorbell rang. I opened it.
Mr. Harnell?
Yes?
I'm Mr. Crawford from the bank. Can I come in?
Just in here, in the vestibule.
We've written you a dozen times, but you've never replied.
What do you want?
Well, Mr. Harnell, you may not realize it, but you've overdrawn your account. The money your wife left you is gone.
Gone? In so short a time?
So short? Why, she died 40 years ago.
40? It seems only yesterday.
We've been investigating. Even the grocer who used to supply your food no longer will extend your credit.
Well, what do you want of me? I'm not starving.
If you could see your face, Mr. Harnell, you'd see that you are. Now, if you can be reasonable, we can see to it that you get $250,000.
$250,000? How?
By selling this house, it's become very valuable.
No. You get out of here! Get out!
But Mr. Harnell!
Get out! He was right. I was starving. That night when I heard the wailing begin again, I came to a decision. I had spent 40 years in the house. More punishment that criminals receive who've committed even worse crimes than mine. I'd take a chance. I'd open the wall I'd sealed up 40 years ago. She was still there. The wailing continued. Why? I looked into the tomb I'd made for her, and then I saw it. I saw this thing that had ruined my life. It was a tiny hole in the outside wall that I'd made when I first broke it open. The wind rushed through and made that horrible wail. What was the use? I took a match out of my pocket. I set a flame to the curtains. In a moment, the place would be an inferno. I decided to stay. I wanted to perish with the house. In death, at least, I'd be free. But even then, freedom was denied me. They rescued me, brought me to this hospital. I had the nurse make inquiries from the police. She told me.
No, there was nothing unusual found amongst the ashes. Everything was burned to a fine powder.
If only I had set fire to the house 40 years ago. But no matter. The window is open, and it's 18 stories to the ground. I will soon be free.
Meow. Everybody dead but the cat. And we only overlooked him because we couldn't find him. Of course, I'm sorry that wall made such an unpleasant noise, such a tuneless wailing. We tried to teach it to whistle, but we didn't have time. All right, friends. Until we meet at some haunted house, here's a parting thought. Don't seal your wife in a wall. That won't keep her quiet. And now, it's time to close the squeaking door. Good night. Pleasant dreams.
And that concludes Mortar and Pestle's The Wailing Wall. Join us again in 2 weeks' time for part 1 of our 2-part season finale, Arsenic and Old Lace.